everybody, it's Peggy. I'm back again with another video, trying desperately to wake up with my morning coffee, but I'm always so talkative in the morning that this is a good opportunity for me to actually do a video talking about talking things. So today's topic is, this is my very first Customer Service 101 video. So I didn't make notes. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to go off the top of my head because Customer Service 101 is something that they should teach at the college level. They should teach it at every level, and they should also teach how to be a good customer, but that's a separate one. Customer Service 101. So let's focus on a couple of things today. Number one, and this is going to sound very counterintuitive, and by the way, disclaimer, Etsy is my thing, so that's where my focus is to begin with, and all opinions expressed are my own, blah, 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 blah. This does not constitute professional advice. Actually, it probably does. I've been doing this for a really long time. Okay, so the old school has always been the customer's always right, and that's fine. That's something that just is taken hold with a vengeance today, and we're not really going to be able to address that. But what we can address is two little words: I'm sorry. Now, it seems really weird, and it might seem really weird, and it's definitely one of those you have to hear me out. But saying I'm sorry to a customer when something has gone wrong, especially when your only way to communicate with them is in writing, which is limited. In writing does not convey emotion the same way. If I say I'm sorry, now I'm a Canadian, I say I'm sorry for everything, okay? You bump into me, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, what are you sorry for? I bumped into you, what's going on? I'm a Canadian. It's just a polite acknowledgement that something has happened, right? In writing with a customer, unless you really are sorry, like if I've screwed something up, and what was it, about a month ago now? I literally got two packages confused. I sent one person, they got each other, I switched my labels by mistake, so the wrong people got the wrong packages. They both contacted me, said, oh, hey Peggy, this is what I got, what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry, because I did screw up. I'm sorry, and here's how I'm going to fix it. If you are not at fault, if you are not responsible, do not use those two little words unless you absolutely have to. And if you are going to say, I'm sorry, immediately follow it with what you're going to do. I'm sorry, I'm going to make you a new bag and send that to you immediately. Please keep the old one with my compliments because it was my screw up, right? Did that for both of them. Everybody's happy. Now, somebody says, hey, I dropped this in the mud and it got all dirty. What are you going to do about it? I'm sorry. Now, I'm sorry in that situation is either I'm somehow taking responsibility for this, or as a Canadian, I'm snidely telling you to fuck off. Oh, I'm sorry, you're an idiot, right? I'm sorry can be very, very problematic, especially when there's different communication styles, different this. I sell to people who aren't necessarily aware that I'm Canadian and that we use I'm sorry as a greeting, right? So definitely active listening goes a long way. Let me take a look at that. Let me look into this. Let me check my stock. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, really? Wow, let me look into this. I'm sorry for a lot of people, and you don't know which those people are. We're a very migratory people now in North America. We grow up in one state or province and move to another state or province for school or work or marriage or whatever. So you can talk to somebody, like I said, you can say I'm sorry to me, and as a Canadian, I'm going to go, yeah, okay. You can say I'm sorry to another Canadian from a different area of the country. Like, we don't do this universally across the country. What is the bless your heart? That is not a universally American thing. It's only universal in certain areas of America. So it's the same thing. Anyway, I'm sorry as a thing, unless you actually are sorry because something has gone wrong and you are admitting fault. I'm sorry are the two words that are most guaranteed to make a person immediately believe that you are admitting guilt, that you are taking the blame, that you are saying you're at fault. Now, are there other ways to express yourself? Of course. So customer says, this showed up broken in package. I'm sorry, let me look into this. It's like, oh, you are sorry. It's like, oh, I'm glad to see you're admitting you improperly packed it, right? Leave out the I'm sorry. It's like, wow, do you have pictures? I need those to check with the post office and see if they can sort this out. Obviously, it was a shipping error. Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. Can you send photos so I can see what the post office wants to say? It's like, well, you've already said you're sorry. Why do you want to get the post office dragged into this? Okay, it's a very small nuance. It's a very, very, very small nuance. So if somebody says that something went wrong, and you know it's your fault, obviously, I'm sorry goes a long way. But I'm sorry should be immediately followed by your action step. Not, I'm sorry, you have to contact the post office. It's like, so you fucked this up, and now you're blaming the post office. Okay, shipping and post office is usually where things go wrong. So, you know, somebody orders a custom whatever, and the name's been spelt wrong, and they say, hey, this is supposed to be Smith, not Smith. I'm sorry, you should check your messages because that's what you said to me. It's like, oh, so you're saying you're sorry, so you knew it was misspelled when I sent it to you. Why didn't you speak up? It happens. It happens. So you say, okay, Smith, right? So you say, let me look into this. Or you say, hi, thanks for reaching out. I looked into this, and this is how you spelled it. But this is what I can do for you. Or this is what I can't. Now, I'm not a big fan of telling your customers to go fuck off and go piss up a rope or whatever like that. So what you choose to do after that is entirely up to you. And I say, approach it with kindness and compassion because everything's in writing. If you're on a platform, this is the second step. If you're selling online from a platform, and this is even Shopify will shut people down if somebody is buying from you. This is going to sound weird. I'll say this right. Even if you're on your own private website, it might be harder to shut you down for your bad manners and shitty attitude if that's what you're bringing to the table. I'm not saying everybody is. But if you contact Shopify and say, this shop owner is threatening me, this shop owner is doing this shop owner is doing that, and then you show proof of your conversation with those people, Shopify shops get shut down for that. It's just harder to do. And I have no idea how Shopify works, so I don't know what their parameters are. But anyway, that's a little tidbit that may or may not matter. Okay, so Etsy, you say you're sorry. Customer says, thank you for admitting guilt. I'd like my refund now. And you're like, whoa, I can see here. Now, how do you dig yourself out of this when you can definitely see, oh, you spelled this wrong. You sent me the wrong spelling. And when I asked you about it, you said it was correct. No, that's not what happened. Now, Etsy spends hundreds of millions of dollars a year trying to attract new customers. And if your $20 t-shirt is going to make a customer who's been spending $200 or $300 a month get pissed off enough to leave the platform, they're going to have a problem with you. This is like a bigger picture. This is a bigger picture thing. Your customer on Etsy is usually also somebody else's customer. So having a hard time with you could piss them off enough that they're going to leave the platform. And that's Etsy's worry. That, we all bitch, oh, they have this big database. Why aren't they sending me customers? And it's like, because they're busy maintaining their big database of customers. It's your job to get their attention. Anyway, that's a whole separate one. Maybe I should do a video on that. I don't know. Anyway. So I'm kind of going around in circles on this. So actively apologizing before you even know what the problem is or before you have verified what's going on can be seen by your customer as an admission that you are the one who's done something wrong and that you are taking responsibility for the problem and its outcome. Now, something shows up broken. If you already know what you're going to do, about it, it's like, okay, I can't prove where this got broke. Okay, something shows up broken in shipping, customer's mad, right? It's like, you know what? I can't prove what happened here. I can't prove how this happened. So I'm just going to give them a refund. Okay, contact them. Hey, I'm sorry this got broken in shipping. Your refund is on the way. Now you're a fucking hero. But make sure that you're using the word correctly. And for those of you who are customers, who are buyers, this isn't to crap on you guys. This is to point out that we've all heard horror stories about crappy customers. And no offense to, I mean, I love my customers. I've very rarely had a hard time with anybody. And yeah, I love my customers. I really, really do. But, and if I screw up, and also, let's just add one extra little detail. Like, if a customer calls me and says, "Hey, this is missing. I haven't gotten it yet," I'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's not there yet. Let me take a look," because because I have a different, a lot of my, the more you know your customer, the more personable you can be with them. But when you're talking about a random customer who you don't know who they are, and it's really crappy that we have to make these assumptions, but it's easier on everybody if you make the assumption that they could take certain terminologies the wrong way. And I'm sorry is one of those terminologies that can be taken the wrong way, because culturally in some area, like, because we talk about North American culture, and don't stop to realize, or European or whatever, everybody, every region, every person has their own personal way that they respond to certain things. Okay, so I'm sorry is not a horrible thing to say to your customer when you're in the wrong, but when you're in the right, it can escalate. It can escalate what's going on with your customer, because if you're saying sorry, then you're admitting you've done something wrong. Like, if you're being accused of taking the last cookie and you know it was your sibling, you don't say, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry that the last cookie is gone." They're going to look at you and go, "Then why'd you take it?" It's like, "No, no, no, I just mean I'm sorry it's gone. It was so-and-so did it." Yeah, right. That's probably the example I should have led with. I always do that. I talk myself into a circle, then I think of an example. Okay. So that's the first one. And there are other ways to commiserate. My package didn't show up. Oh no, let me look into that. And then give everybody a few, and look into it. Don't just blow smoke up their asses. That's not okay either. And then look into it and check and say, "Oh, I just checked the tracking. It says it was delivered." Now, here's what and this is going to go right into the second one. So here's an action step. Number two, I'm going to go straight to number two. Okay, so we've kind of got onto that. I'm sorry. Don't just go, "This is your fault. I'm not taking responsibility for this." Because if you start talking like that to your customer, you're going to have an even bigger problem than saying "I'm sorry" at the wrong time could get you. Like I said, say "I'm sorry" if you really are sorry. If it's that, like Smith and Smith, and you look up messages back and forth, what if it was a phone call? What if you did agree to a phone call with this customer and you don't know where it went wrong? Saying "I'm sorry" means that you're admitting it was your fault, and you can honestly come back and say, I'm not seeing any record here. I'm not seeing anything between us here clarifying how the spelling went. So here's what I'm going to do. You still don't have to say sorry, even when you think you might be at fault, especially if you think this is a situation that could escalate. And that's usually the big thing. If somebody comes back and they're super happy about it, "Oh, hey, I'm just checking in. My package hasn't shown up yet. Is everything okay? I'm really concerned for you as a seller that this might go missing, yada, 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 yada." You can say, "Oh, I'm sorry that it hasn't shown up yet. Let me look into it." And you look into it and go, "Oh, my tracking shows that it was already delivered. How do you want to proceed with that?" Whatever you're going to do, right? Okay. So saying "I'm sorry" is just a great way to trigger somebody, especially if it seems, and in writing, you don't get a nuance. "Hey, my package hasn't shown up yet." For all you know, they are seething. You can, if you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can pick up from the nuance of their vocal tones what's going on. In writing, nuance doesn't really exist for most people. So this isn't about whether or not you owe your customer an apology if you've screwed up. This is about, will saying "I'm sorry" escalate a situation because you don't have the nuance behind what they're saying to you about what their problem is. So we'll leave that one alone. We'll be finished with that. And I'm probably going to touch on similar things to say, things not to say. And if you have any questions, that's fine. It's really, really hard without specific examples, and that might be something I'm going to try and start getting into, is having specific examples where this is what happened, this is what I would do, this is what I would do it. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. It's not necessarily a lot of work, but I don't want to end up accidentally shaming sellers for doing something that I would have done differently. So I don't know if that's a kind thing to do. I haven't decided yet. Okay, number two. Number two is really simple. Don't write a book. Don't do it. So example, somebody's package goes missing, and this happens a lot. This happens a lot. I can use this as an example because it happens so often that nobody can point at it and go, she's talking about me, because I'm talking about like a very large number of people. My package didn't show up. Oh, well, here's what you have to do. You have to do this, and it's not my responsibility for this, and it's not my responsibility. And you write them a book. You write them tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff. And then you're all shocked. Why did they come back angry? Well, because you told them off. You basically told them to go get fucked, is what you told them. Whether that's what you're intending to do or not, that's what you've ended up doing. Oh, just a second, this is off center here. There we go. So you have accidentally told your customer to get fucked, because when somebody throws a wall of text at me like that, when I've just asked a simple question, I'm assuming, one, you're deflecting responsibility, which usually they are. Usually when you're coming back with that kind of stuff, you're trying to deflect responsibility. It's like, I've just said my package isn't here. What the fuck is this all about? Number two, and this is a strange one, they don't necessarily believe you've taken the time to write this out. Oh, well, every time they have a problem with shipping, they just copy and paste this big, giant, long fucking book at people. Happens. It happens. Not very many people take the time. So it's really easy, and it is a sign of defensiveness. You're being, oh, look at how defensive this one is. Obviously, they've done something wrong and don't want to take responsibility. You can end up really severely escalating a situation by being I don't want to call it overly communicative. And sometimes as a seller, I appreciate the extra information, but most of the time I see it as defensiveness. And I'll be honest, behind the scenes, when I'm seeing people, oh, this is what I told my customer, what should I have done, and blah, 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 blah. Now they're really upset, and now they want to open a case, and it's like, you shouldn't, people come back and say, well, you need to tell them what's what, and this and that, and this and that. And for the most part, I read through these things, and it's like you escalated it because you word vomited at them. Verbal vomit. It's a term. Look it up. I'm not sure if you're going to find it in an actual dictionary, but you'll see the word salad. So you monologued at them. You did the thing. You covered every single base without even bothering to find out what the problem was. Okay. So, packages showing up late, and okay, here's an example of something that happened. Packages running late, and the customer contacts and says, "Hey, I'm just checking in. I should have had this package by now, and I noticed that you just put it in the mail today." Like, what's going on, right? Well, I'm a single mom, and I have these kids, and I do this, and I do that, and I had to take them to school, and one of the kids got sick, and before the kid got better, I got sick, so I was just too sick to work, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and I'm not responsible for loss of stolen mail, so it's in the mail now, but it's fine, and it's safe, and here's the tracking number. And this person, and this became a thing. This became a thing in the group, in one of the groups that I was in. This person came in, they shared the screenshots. They literally sent, like, I swear to God, 3 pages. If they'd have printed it out, it would have been about 3 pages worth of text telling this person all about how it's not my fault that I was late putting your package in the mail, that I did or didn't get tracking, that they're not responsible, that it's not their fault, and you as a customer need to understand that I'm a small business, so this is what I do, and you need to be patient. And I forget. I don't think they'd put it in the packet mail that day or whatever. But there was a huge issue with the mailing because this person had gotten sick, was late, put it in the mail, and it was still late, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, number one, customers don't care about your fucking life story. They don't care. They want their shit. They don't want your excuses. And when you're writing paragraph after paragraph after paragraph at your customers, all they see is, oh, look at this fucking excuse. Because don't forget, you're not sending nuance. You're sending a wall of words. A wall of words does not convey emotion. So customer says to me, hey, my package is late. What's going on? It's like, oh my God, I'm really sorry. I wasn't feeling well, and I got a couple of days behind. I know that's entirely on me, but your package is in the mail now. Blah. Now, if you're late sending packages, that's a whole separate one. With Etsy, if your package isn't in the mail on time, so you say that you're going to have this thing in the mail in 3 days, and it's now day 4, you actually, per their terms of service, have to contact your customer and let them know their package is late and ask them if that's okay. And if it's not okay, you have to offer them a full refund, regardless of how much expenses you've already incurred. But A generous, kind customer might decide to be okay with that and not make that part of it an issue. So now they're saying, hey, what's going on? My package is late. Well, here's my wall of words. This is going to escalate. Even if it only escalates in the customer's mind, it is going to escalate this. You're not getting a repeat customer out of this. You are not. Now, if you have built a personalized relationship with that customer, or if the customer is somebody you happen to know, that might be a whole different ball of wax. But for the most part, this wall of words just offends. It serves to offend and it serves no other purpose. It serves no other purpose because to a customer, it looks like you're avoiding the responsibility, deflecting responsibility, blaming the customer. You can't be subjected to that kind of a tirade because that's what it looks like. In writing, it looks like an absolute tirade, no matter how kind you think you're being. And this is a very difficult concept to explain to people because some people are just more wordy than others. Somebody says, hey, my package hasn't arrived. Well, your personal excuses don't matter. Oh, I wasn't feeling well. The kids weren't feeling well. This is what was going on. Had an emergency. Got called into work. Yada yada yada. If I'm going to the store to pick up some, I don't know what kind of a tangible example I could use to reverse to flip that. If you show up for your parent teacher meeting and the teacher's not there, you're gonna go, why the fuck didn't you tell me? What's going on? Why are you not doing your job? Right? You're going to be pissed, especially if they come back. Well, I'm a teacher too, and teachers have real lives, and teachers do this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm here for your kid, and I'm here for your kid, but I got to be there for my own kids too. And my husband was sick, and the car broke down, and blah blah. You're going to go, what the fuck is that my problem? You have a responsibility. Why didn't you just contact me and reschedule? Right? So, and let's stick with this example. What should this person have done? And this was a massive. This was like, pity me, poor me, pity me, poor me. And I don't have, okay, personally, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that because I have pity me, poor me moments too. But when you make that your customer's problem, you're just pissing them off. You really are. Even a sympathy, oh my God, that's just so bad. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's time to buy another one. And she's got things really rough. And I already know that she's going to look at what she said last time. I already know that she's going to be late sending her stuff out. So I'm just not going to, I won't bother her with my request. I'll go buy it from somebody else who will get it out the fucking door on time. Anyway, or unbroken, or we'll actually deal with the problem with this, with that. People are so quick to, I'm going to make sure that they don't get mad at me. I'm going to make sure they can't get mad at me by giving them everything that's going on so that they understand what's going on. It's like they don't want to understand what's going on. They haven't got time for that shit. I don't know how to describe this. Okay, maybe I do. I'm talking about it, right? I'm talking and talking and talking. Okay, so package is late, and instead of saying, I'm sorry, I've been sick lately, just say, oh, I'm sorry, I did get a little behind, and I do apologize for that. And if, I did check the tracking, and it is going to be showing up by Friday. Done. You don't need to explain how you and the kids have been sick for the last 6 years and how the hubby is doing this and how the car broke down, the dog died, this and that. You don't need to explain all that stuff. That's a level of awkward that just drives customers away. And it's also a level of awkward. It's the same thing. It's either a level of awkward that drives them away or it's a level of awkward that the customer sees as arguing, deflecting, being defensive, not taking responsibility. There's so many things that there's a very, very low chance that they're going to see this in a sympathetic, even when they're being sympathetic, there's a very, very low chance that they're going to be fully sympathetic. Does that make sense? Don't use guilt. Don't use word salad or guilt trips on your customers. Don't do it in the form of 35 paragraphs that took you 2 hours to write because you're stressing yourself out and you're just pissing off your customer. Anyway, that one can be hard because if you've been having a shit week and something goes wrong and a customer contacts you, it is really, really tempting to tell them all about your shit week. It's like, you need to back up, buddy. I've had a shit week. Go ahead and think it. Right? Somebody contacts me and says, "Hey, I ordered this a while ago, and I did this custom order with you a while ago. I still haven't seen the listing up yet." I'm gonna go, "Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, still working on other stuff. So it'll be I'll have it for you in a few days." Or sorry about the delay. Blah 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 blah. Right? I don't tell them my life story. Like, I just don't. And I build realistic guidelines on what I do. Sometimes I do get fucked up. I got a bad leg. Sometimes I'll get fucked up and I won't be able to work on more than the absolute minimum for a few days or whatever because it's having a flare or whatever the fuck, right? So when somebody contacts me and says, hey, I would like to order a custom bag from you, I'm like, great. Expect it to take at least a month, right? Expect it to take at least a month. Because that way, if life gets in my way, it usually takes a while anyway because I get busy, but anyway, that's a whole separate thing. So, I'm sorry should be judiciously applied and only when you are actually sorry, when you are actually apologizing because you did do something wrong. Find other ways to express yourself that avoids terms that take responsibility. And I'm sorry is obviously the most obvious one. Number 2, avoid the word salad. Avoid those big, long-winded explanations. And you might think this is just a normal way to communicate with somebody. It's like, this might be a normal way to communicate with somebody over the phone, but when you're putting it in writing and it takes 3 pages to write it out, you're over-communicating. Hey, this package is missing. No worries, let me look into it. Look into it. Hey, I checked the tracking. It says it's been delivered. It's probably in your best interest to check with the other people in the house or your neighbors and see if it was delivered. Either see if somebody else accepted the package, whatever. See, I can babble it verbally. I can babble verbally because it's quick, it's easy. It doesn't require a whole lot of effort on your part. You just have to listen. When it's in writing, I have to sit there staring at a screen reading all this shit, and there's no emotional nuance. I don't know if you're trying to be conciliatory. I don't know if you're being deflective. I don't know if you're being defensive. I don't know if you're hiding something. All I know is that I see words on a screen, and we all know. What's that? There's this thing, and I forget what it was. I should have looked it up before I sat down, but it didn't occur to me. Where there's all these grammar exercises where they show you that just misplacing a comma can change the entire meaning of an entire sentence. So you're reading through this bullshit going, why are you sending me this avalanche of text that I didn't ask for? I said, where's my package? I didn't ask you how your fucking kids are this week and what. Oh, you didn't take it to the mail because you were sick. I don't fucking care about that. I don't care about these excuses. You've just sent a detailed bullet list of all the things that you fucked up in not getting something out the door on time. If that's the example that we're going to go with. You just sent a detailed bullet list of all the things you did wrong. Now I was like, yeah, I'm just going to open a case because you not putting stuff in the mail because your kid was sick makes no fucking sense. Right? You've given them fodder. You really have. You've given them points to dispute with you now. To go, yeah, and you've avalanched all this stuff at them that they didn't ask for. They want a simple answer to a simple question. You can escalate things insanely, and I've seen it happen. Oh, I said this. That should have explained everything. It's like they didn't ask for everything. They asked where their package was. They asked why this was late. They asked why something went wrong. They didn't ask for a 40-point bullet list. So a 40-point parable. I don't know. They didn't ask for a novella. Anyway, that's it. Two examples. Kind of messy, kind of a messy video today, but I don't care. And I'm looking at the time, and I think I can almost get this under 30 minutes again. So let's go for it. 14, 13. Okay, like, subscribe, ring the bell. You guys know I'm trying to take over the world, one subscriber at a time. And in the meantime, I'm going to let you guys go. And do leave your comments below. This is a. So I'm going to get going. I've got more videos to make. I've got more things to sew. I've got more coffee to drink. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. In the meantime, like I said, like, comment, do the things, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.